So, another more just an experimental video really, but to keep the theme going with rye. We've discussed about life and meditation and looking at philosophy and life basically, and kind of decided that it's the old thing, it's the journey. To expect that you're going to get anywhere except dead is not realistic at all. In fact, it's probably dangerous. Not dangerous, but it's not sensible to think that you're going to get anything. You'll never work out, let's say, what it's all about, life, the meaning of everything. You're not going to find out. You're not going to get enlightenment. You're not going to get really anything at all. All you can do is just input stuff, and then you'll die. That's about it, really. I wanted to go back to change her name, just to save the innocent. Susan, who a thicko. Now, the thing I was thinking with the thicko that I didn't get to mention yesterday, because Rise talked about meditation. Now, looking at her, I can think back and think about looking at her, and she looked like she was completely without thought, just sitting there. I'll open the mouth like. It didn't look, she'd just drift off, and it didn't look as though there was anyone home at all. Nothing going on at all. In other words, I think what she was doing was classic meditation. She was enlightened. Not enlightened, but she's classic meditation. And I can't help thinking that an awful lot of intelligent people doing meditation are getting themselves into a state of being a classic thicko, which kind of gets me back to our friends, the cave people, the Stone Age before then, the cave people, proto-people. And what state of mind were they in? It's sometimes said that they were, it doesn't matter, just asking what sort of state of mind were they in. I can only imagine that they were in a thicko state of mind, in a kind of most of the time, unless there was something needed doing, like, what did I call her, Susan? Could get into excited about, something stupid. So this is going back to my older question, were these proto-people cooler than what we are, or did they lead always on the edge, kind of savage sort of? I can't imagine that would have been efficient. I think they would have been classic thickos. And here, Rai, again, going back to not the meditation and mindfulness talk, but what I was discussing in the last video on Rai's last comment, where in the opening sentence there was too much. There was evidently too much going on in Rai's mind. It was not in the slightest bit meditation cool. So from what I've just said, we have a strange sort of quandary about what is best, because it seems that thickos, when they're in mode, are doing classic meditation. But because they're thickos, they don't do the, let's say, book reading. So when they come out of and actually get into doing life, all they'll do is, try and look for a cigarette or something pink to look at. I mean, nothing very sensible. But book reading people will not get anywhere, that's the first thing. But they will be probably training their minds to think better. They will be able to get through and get round problems that might come up that the thicko just can't do because their minds aren't trained to. So you're seeing where we're coming from. It's possible that the thicko has got the innocence is bliss. Us kind of book reading superior people struggle to do meditation, which is to calm our mind down to a thicko level. So I'm not sure that it's really beneficial to even try and do it. But we do have the ability to think through problems better than thickos can. And mentioning the cave type people who I think were thickos, who I'm going to put in as being pretty cool dudes, but really not very bright, the equivalent of a modern thicko. And to reiterate that although we do our book reading and are training our minds to be efficient, we can get ourselves into a twirly state of uncoolness because we think that we're getting somewhere. And that is always to be avoided, because it is an absolute fact that we will never be getting anywhere. We might be able to answer a few more questions on quiz programs about things, but that's all. We're going to die just like the thickos, and unless we're going to put our mind to, it doesn't matter. That's our kind of choice and where we're at the moment. So I'll call that a video and use this video as a bit of an experimentation to check what I can do again with the Daily Motion and embedding it, seeing what's best. But from this video, we've got a few things to think about anyway. That thickos have got the advantage that they are actually ignorance is bliss, but they have the disadvantage that they will run into episodes in their life that they just will not be able to think through, and will make what will ultimately be wrong decisions because they don't have the thinking ability. We have learnt the thinking ability, but it comes with the added watch out, because if you put too much information in without processing it, the brain can get very confused. It can get clogged with too much information, and it can't. It's like the thickos spin their wheels in the mud. We get a similar sort of thing of being the wheels are completely bogged down with too much information. It's an art to having just enough to keep it entertained and working and lubricated, but still turning around and going somewhere. But don't expect the going somewhere to ever get you anywhere. It is that horrible old thing that it's the journey, not the arriving, because the only arriving that we can guarantee is being dead. Right, let's call that quits. Thanks, bye.